The Mithridatic Wars, spanning over three distinct periods, 88 to 63 BCE, represent one of the most fascinating and turbulent conflicts in ancient history. These wars were waged between the Roman Republic and King Mithridates VI of Pontus, a cunning and ambitious leader who sought to challenge Rome's expanding power in the eastern Mediterranean. Below is the complete 3,000-word account of the Mithridatic Wars. Introduction to the Mithridatic Wars. The Mithridatic Wars marked a series of protracted and bloody conflicts that epitomized the struggle between Rome's imperial ambitions and the resilience of regional powers. Mithridates VI, known as the Poison King, was a formidable adversary whose intelligence, resourcefulness, and ruthlessness earned him a lasting place in history. The wars reflect not only military strategies, but also the shifting dynamics of alliances, politics, and cultural influence in the ancient world. Background and rise of Mithridates VI. Mithridates VI ascended the throne of Pontus around 120 BC. His early reign was marked by challenges, including internal strife and the threat of Roman domination in Anatolia. Demonstrating extraordinary survival instincts, Mithridates expanded his kingdom, forging alliances and incorporating neighboring territories such as Colchis, Cappadocia, and parts of Armenia into his dominion. Rome's expansionist policies increasingly brought it into conflict with Hellenistic states. By the late 2nd century BCE, Rome had established dominance in regions such as Pergamum and Bithynia, creating friction with Mithridates, who sought to resist Roman hegemony. The First Mithridatic War, 88 to 85 BC. Causes of the war. The First War erupted from disputes over control of Cappadocia and Bithynia. Rome supported local rulers favorable to its interests, while Mithridates sought to install leaders loyal to Pontus. Tensions escalated when Nicomedes IV of Bithynia, backed by Rome, launched raids into Mithridatic territory. In retaliation, Mithridates declared war and initiated a campaign that caught Rome by surprise. Massacre of Romans in Asia Minor. One of the most infamous acts of the First Mithridatic War was the so-called Asiatic Vespers, in which Mithridates orchestrated the massacre of an estimated 80,000 to 150,000 Roman citizens and Italian residents across Asia Minor in a single day. This act shocked Rome and ensured that Mithridates would be seen as a mortal enemy of the Republic. Early victories for Mithridates. Mithridates achieved early success, capturing much of Asia Minor and advancing into Greece, where he was welcomed as a liberator. Cities such as Athens revolted against Roman rule and allied with Mithridates, furthering his reach. Sulla's campaign and the Siege of Athens. Rome's response was led by Lucius Cornelius Sulla, a brilliant general and future dictator. In 87 BCE, Sulla landed in Greece and laid siege to Athens, which had fallen under Mithridatic control. The siege culminated in the brutal sacking of the city in 86 BC. Sulla pursued Mithridatic forces in a series of decisive battles, including the Battle of Chaeronea and the Battle of Orchomenus, where Roman discipline and tactics overwhelmed the larger Pontic armies. Peace of Dardanus. The war concluded with the Peace of Dardanus in 85 BC. Mithridates was forced to surrender his conquests in Asia Minor, withdraw from Greece, and pay a substantial indemnity. However, he retained his throne in Pontus, allowing him to regroup for future conflicts. The Second Mithridatic War, 83 to 81 BC. The second conflict was shorter and less decisive than the first. It arose from renewed tensions between Mithridates and Rome, particularly due to Mithridates' efforts to reassert his influence in Anatolia. Murina's campaigns. Lucius Licinius Murena, a Roman commander, initiated hostilities without formal Senate approval. Mithridates effectively repelled Roman incursions, leading to a stalemate. Ultimately, Sulla ordered Murena to cease his attacks, bringing the Second War to an inconclusive end. The Third Mithridatic War, 74 to 63 BC. The third and final war was the most extensive and decisive, pitting Mithridates against Rome's most celebrated generals, including Lucius Licinius Lucullus and Gnaeus Pompeius Magnus, Pompey the Great. Outbreak of war. The conflict began when Mithridates sought to exploit a Roman succession dispute in Bithynia. Nicomedes IV bequeathed his kingdom to Rome upon his death, prompting Mithridates to invade. Rome responded with a declaration of war. Lucullus campaigns. Lucullus initially led the Roman forces, achieving significant victories. He defeated Mithridates at the Battle of Cyzicus, 73 BCE, and pursued him into Armenia, where Mithridates sought refuge with King Tigranes II. Lucullus' campaign culminated in the Battle of Tigranocerta, 69 BCE, a crushing Roman victory over the combined Pontic-Armenian forces. However, Lucullus faced growing dissent among his troops and political rivals in Rome, which limited his ability to deliver a final blow. Pompey's triumph. In 66 BCE, command passed to Pompey the Great, who revitalized the Roman effort. Pompey pursued Mithridates across the Caucasus and into the Crimean Peninsula. Realizing his defeat was inevitable, Mithridates attempted to rally support for an invasion of Italy, but failed to gain sufficient backing. In 63 BCE, facing rebellion among his own forces and betrayal by his son, Mithridates took his own life, reportedly using poison, which he had long developed an immunity to, requiring him to resort to a blade. Aftermath and legacy. The Mithridatic Wars solidified Roman dominance in the eastern Mediterranean and marked the end of Hellenistic resistance to Rome. The territories of Pontus and Armenia were brought under Roman influence, and Rome's control over Asia Minor was firmly established. Mithridates VI remains a legendary figure, celebrated for his resistance against overwhelming odds. His wars exposed weaknesses in Roman administration and foreshadowed the internal conflicts that would eventually lead to the collapse of the Republic. Conclusion. The Mithridatic Wars were a defining chapter in the history of Rome and the ancient world. They highlight the complexity of Roman expansion, the resilience of local powers, and the enduring legacy of leaders like Mithridates VI. This fascinating period continues to captivate historians and enthusiasts, offering lessons in strategy, ambition, and the consequences of imperial ambition.